So if you want to learn how to lose weight fast, in these next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how to drop your first 10 pounds faster than you ever thought you could without restricting yourself from your favorite foods. So the first thing that you have to understand, and I talk about this a lot in my book, Food Love, is that you have to understand what a cells first mentality is. What we want to do is we want to feed ourselves super yummy food from first thing in the morning. And what happens with that is because our cells are happy, the rest of the day is 1,000 times easier with our cravings and our hunger pangs and all the different things that come up and make us want to run for a Snickers bar or a caffeinated milkshake. If we're feeding ourselves from first thing in the morning, the rest of the day is great. And how I suggest to do this, and all this is outlined in the book, is that I give you 5 different options, and there are a lot more options. There's drop downs, and I suggest different YouTube videos to check out, but you're going to find something super yummy, super nutritious to start off your day, and you're going to push your normal day ahead 1 hour. So if you're used to having coffee in the morning, all those things, totally fine. We just want to start our day with something super yummy and nutrient dense so our cells are happy and they get fed. Then have your coffee and whatever you're used to having after that. What you're going to see is because you're feeding your cells, you are not going to be hungry for the same types of things in the morning, mid-morning snack, and lunchtime because your cells are happy. When our cells are being fed, specifically first thing in the morning, the rest of the day is going to be so much easier. And because we're doing something super yummy, our senses are like, thank you. Thank you for not depriving us. Thank you for not restricting us. We're happy. Our cells are like, yay, we got something nutritious. We didn't just get junk in the morning. And that feeling you're going to carry with you throughout the rest of the day. Now, it isn't possible every single day to do that. I don't start my day every single day with my morning smoothie. That's the thing that I do. And it's amazing, easy to make because I don't know, some days I have to travel for an hour and a half and I don't want to have the smoothie and I'll have something more solid and I'll have the smoothie later on in the day, but I've been doing this for a while. But if you want to drop weight fast, make those cells happy. It's going to make the rest of your day 1,000 times easier. The second thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to understand what this and that's are. We want to take your favorite food, whatever it is for lunchtime, if it's Italian or if it's German or Mexican or whatever, we want to put some concentrate on top of a salad. It's kind of like how the bowl thing has really erupted in the past 20 years, where you can go to Chipotle or different places and people are making their burritos into bowls. People are starting to get more and more away from wheat products, and they're realizing that if they just have greens and chopped up pico de gallo, which is pretty much just tomatoes, they left out the pico and the gallo, there's no jalapeno, but they're getting chopped veggies and they're getting their rice and they put a concentrate on top. That's the idea. These bowls are going the right way. If you're tired of diets that force you to give up your favorite foods in order to lose weight, only to put all that weight back on once you quit that diet, then I invite you to try my completely free online program that will help you lose your first 10 to 15 pounds without giving up the foods that you love. So head on over to foodloveonline.com and get started with us today. No credit card is needed. This is a completely free online program. Even if you're incredibly busy or incredibly lazy and nothing else has worked for you in the past, this can work for you. In 3 short videos, I will take you by the hand and get you on the road to losing weight, and most importantly, happily keeping it off forever. So head over to foodloveonline.com and I'll see you over there. So what we want to do is keep that same mentality, but we want to have a salad and a concentrate on top. Your senses are going to be happy. You're not going to feel deprived because you're still having your favorite food, and it's just easier for your body to digest and metabolize, and that's how weight loss can occur. It's hard to lose weight when we're combining chicken and pasta and then having a tiramisu cake and then having a caffeinated milkshake, having a Snickers bar later. And the reason that we're constantly hungry and we can eat all day long is that when our cells aren't getting what they need, they're gonna tell you, listen, I'm hungry. Like, you have to feed me. Like, your senses, good for them. if you want to make them happy and you want to eat things that make them happy, that's great. But you have a body that needs to function. And if we're not happy, we're going to start shutting you down. And so your cells are going to send these signals for you to keep eating. You're like, oh my God, I just ate a huge breakfast and a huge lunch and I can keep eating, because you are starving at the cellular level. So it's super important that we start our day that way. And then at lunchtime, take your favorite foods. Food Love is all about non-restrictive dieting. We have to be smart with our food. The area of food didn't come with an instruction manual, neither did parenting, neither did relationships. And I'm trying to provide the instruction manual from all the information that's been out there. I read over 100 books on diet and nutrition, took all these courses, certified holistic nutritionist. The information isn't out there and consolidated in the way that it is in Food Love, because how can you have these doctors? There's these vegan MDs that are like, okay, meat is bad. And then you have all these other MDs that are very keto-centric that will say, actually, it's complex carbohydrates, stay away from them. And they're both MDs, their diets work, they have information and stats and research that has been done specifically on their diets and how they've helped people. How can they all be right? They are, because if you have certain concentrates on top of a salad, you're going to lose weight. If you're on the keto side and the meat-based side, if you just have meat and greens, that's going to work. Now, there's a lot of arguments, regarding if meat is okay for you. And even the keto doctors, they're all about high quality grass-fed meat products, not processed meat products. And the plant-based people they're not fans of the processed stuff that you're going to see in the freezer section. Those are what I call NABs, not as bad. But what they all agree on is greens and salads, all of them. And so if you just take what your favorite foods are and you don't subscribe specifically to a vegan, vegetarian, or keto carnivore, and you're just like, listen, I'm going to have the highest quality version of my favorite food on top of a salad, you're going to see yourself lose weight and you're not going to feel deprived because you're still having your favorite foods. With all amazing things, there's always a VIP pass, like flying first class or getting those cut the line passes at an amusement park or gaining backstage access at a rock concert. So I wanted to offer you Food Love's VIP experience. We have two options that allow you to get your answers directly from me, so I can hold your hand every step of the way and virtually guarantee your weight loss success. One option offers weekly support through a Q&A call, while the other option offers you direct access to me for a full 6 months through my WhatsApp number. Both options can help you shortcut your weight loss transformation tremendously. You can choose the one that makes the most sense for you by heading over to foodlovevip.com. Once again, that's foodlovevip.com. Back to the show. The third thing that we're going to do is that we want to set up your day with your snacks. Most people are Hobbit eaters like me. Hobbit, the Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit, that Hobbits eat all day long. And I think they talk about it in the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit book, where they have breakfast and second breakfast and lunch, and they eat like 8 or 10 times a day. So do we. We just don't consider all of them meals, but most people eat between 6 and 8 times a day. So I map it out in my book where we have a breakfast, a mid-morning snack, a lunch, a midday snack, dinner, dessert, and sometimes a before bed snack. And it's important to map these different things out. I've got a massive sweet tooth. So after a salty meal, I'm gonna want something sweet. My breakfast is on the sweet side, so I don't crave any sweet Danish or pastry type things that I used to in the morning because my morning smoothie is super sweet. Then for a mid-morning snack, usually a piece of fruit, something basic like that. And then my lunch is at this and that. My afternoon snack is always something sweet. And I have different types of bars that I'll use, or sometimes I'll have a piece of fruit. It depends if I'm working at home or if I'm in the city or if I'm driving, but I set myself up. And I know to expect to want something around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I'm ready for dinner I have always a dessert after dinner because that's how I was conditioned growing up. My mom gave us great desserts after dinner. Basically, we could go into the fridge or the freezer and there'd always be ice cream or yogurt or a candy bar or fruit roll-up, or remember fruit roll-ups? Any of that type of stuff would be available to us. So I have this intense connection. After dinner, I need something sweet. So I set myself up in that area, and then I always have a before bed snack. And so we go into length in the different courses and also in the book that we have about different options. And I'm going to put out a lot of different videos on YouTube where I'll go over the different options that I have in my house. I'm going to bring you into my kitchen. And most importantly, for weight loss, when you're planning, that's when weight's going to come off fast. Any area that you plan in, whether it's your finances, your relationships, with your kids, and you're really paying attention and you're really setting aside time for your kids, you're making sure that they have what they need. For your relationships, you're spending special time together, you're sensitive about certain things, your finances. When you don't pay attention to things and you just wing it, that's when there's disaster. The same thing happens in the area of food. So those three things will help you to lose weight really fast. And if you want a little reference guide, that's kind of how I made Food Love, where it's a book where you can just kind of stick it on a shelf and go back to it and be like, oh, what am I supposed to do? Oh, that. And it's super cheap on Amazon. It's like $10. And in this next video, I'm going to talk about how I made a quote unquote mistake the other day when I took my kid to get a haircut. I went into the diner that was next door to where he was getting a haircut, and the adventure and the experience that I had there. And I'm going to show you how you can turn quote unquote cheating into winning, and how it's one of the most valuable things that you can do for your short and long-term weight loss success. I'll see you in that next video.